Thank you, Amy. Hi, I'm Michael Barkan. Here's what we're talking about tonight. Eagles wide receiver Josh Huff arrested this morning. Find out what it could mean for team and the embattled wide receiver. The Flyers have no problem scoring, but in stopping the other team from lighting the lamp. Problem. We'll delve into the team's issues in their own end. And the Sixers will tag team big men with back-to-back games tonight and tomorrow. Find out what it means for JoJo and Big Ja right now on Philly Sports Talk. Let's talk about it.
From the Comcast Sportsnet studios in the heart of Philadelphia Sports Complex, this is Philly Sports Talk.
Philly Sports Talk, presented by Comcast Business.
And we welcome you to Philly Sports Talk, presented by Comcast Business. From the Philadelphia Daily News, Marcus Hayes is here. They're columnists from the Inquirer, Philadelphia Inquirer, covering the Eagles. It is Jeff McClain. Great to see you both. Unfortunately for Josh Huff, not a great day for him and for the Philadelphia Eagles. You heard Amy Fadul tell you just a moment ago. Josh Huff arrested earlier today on the Walt Whitman Bridge. He reportedly has been found with a gun on the seat and in possession of marijuana. What this will mean is anybody's guess, although I would think the two of you can make an educated one with regard to the NFL. We have seen a long list, fairly long list, of transgressions off the field from the Philadelphia Eagles players, and let me just show you those, if we could. This is starting in June. Nelson Aguilar accused of sexual assault. July, Nigel Bradham arrested on suspicion of battery, aggravated assault. August, Lane Johnson tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs, 10-game suspension. October, Bradham arrested for bringing a loaded gun through the Miami airport. And today, Josh Huff arrested for allegedly speeding, possession of marijuana, and a firearm that reportedly is registered in Texas only. That's a problem. Here is the Eagles' statement on Josh Huff. Quote, "We are aware of the incident today involving Josh Huff. At this point, we are gathering more information." And what do you think that more information will lead to with regard to Huff and team?
Well, I mean, I guess this is all alleged. At this point, we don't know if he's going to be indicted or he's going to be charged, but he has been arrested. And then I guess the Eagles want to see, first off, if that comes to fruition. And then they'll go from there. I mean, judging by the way they handled the Bradham situation, the way they handled the Nelson Aguilar situation, they'll probably let the situation proceed, wait until the courts decide how this will play out, and then they'll make some sort of decision in terms of discipline. Of course, as you mentioned, the NFL can look into it independently and then make a decision in terms of whether they wanted to discipline him or not. But as far as I know, this is the first kind of incident that Josh Huff has ever gotten into off the field. Certainly serious in nature, but we'll have to see how this plays out.
Marcus, let me show you an anonymous quote from an Eagles defensive player from NJ.com saying, quote, "He will learn after this, I'm sure. The NFL doesn't play around with marijuana or stuff like this." That is an anonymous Eagles defensive player. Where do you think this is going?
Well, I don't know that the Eagles will ever have any sort of disciplinary involvement in this, because this is kind of the kind of thing that the league takes care of once everything is sort of adjudicated. I think he has been charged. I think I think he's in New Jersey. He has been charged. He'll be released later.
Unlawful possession of a weapon, according to our Derek Gunn, confirming the other reports. Gunner also reporting that he has been released.
Right, but so I don't know that this, in the short term, matters a whole lot to this season, because these sorts of things sort of take a while to play out. I mean, my question is, maybe the teams just need to have somebody at all of the bridges to keep all of the athletes from speeding over the bridges, because it's really kind of easy to tell if a guy's speeding on a bridge.
Right.
That's the height of stupidity between Jahlil Okafor and Josh Huff. Just don't speed on a bridge.
Yeah.
You know, it's really easy to figure it out, especially, you know, early in the morning.
Let's get some legal advice on this, and we welcome on our flash cam Pennsylvania attorney, also licensed in New Jersey, for some inside access, Enrique Latoison, joining us. Counselor, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it. What is likely in store here for an unregistered gun? And by unregistered, I mean it is not registered, as far as we know, in Pennsylvania or in New Jersey, and a small possession of marijuana on the Walt Whitman Bridge.
Well, the first thing I'm going to say is you're completely right. If you're going to be heading over that bridge, you need to start slowing down. From all the other cases you've seen, people are speeding over that bridge, they get pulled over, and unfortunately, they're doing things they shouldn't be doing along with the speeding over the bridge. I will say that one of the things I want to point out is that with the amount of grams of marijuana he had, it still would have been a misdemeanor here in Philadelphia. You're looking at usually a $25 fine, but that's under an ounce. The reports are 50 grams, which is well over an ounce, closer to 2 ounces. And if you get caught with that here, even in the Philadelphia region, you're still looking at a misdemeanor case. Now, New Jersey has a very, very well-known reputation for having very, very strict laws in reference to possession of a firearm. There have been police officers who have carry permits in Pennsylvania who may live in Jersey who've been stopped going into Jersey with a firearm. There's been very well-known cases that when you have a firearm in New Jersey does not like and does not care about what you may have a firearm from another state. They have very strict rules along with New York. New York also has very strict rules. Now, one of the things that you point out, which is very true, is that this is going to have to play out. There are different programs, there are different things that could occur that could still work out in his favor.
Over what period of time, Enrique?
Well, these things can drag on for a while. I mean, if you look at the Ray Rice case, that was something that dragged on for a very long time. He was eventually put into a diversionary program. Of course, Mr. Huff has the ability to hire counsel, and he will have counsel that could explore any possible diversionary programs. But this is not something that's going to take place overnight, and it's definitely something that, you know, the Eagles are probably going to wait until the outcome of the situation to determine any kind of punishment.
Also, we point out that Enrique Latoison is not counsel to Josh Huff. Jeff McClain's got a question.
Just Enrique, I mean, what's really the worst that could happen to here, and what's the least that could happen to him?
Well, look at Plaxico Burress. He went to jail. So to answer your question, the easy answer is the worst that could happen to him, he could go to jail. Okay. Plaxico shot himself, and he still ended up going to jail. He had to deal with the wound and going to prison and possibly losing his career.
But he was in a club, though, as opposed to, you know, his own automobile. I'm just wondering if there's a difference there.
Well, the difference was there really wasn't any difference in the sense he had an illegal firearm, and that was really the issue. Now, you have an illegal firearm in Jersey. Gotcha. The worst that can happen is you can go to jail, you can be convicted. The least that can happen to him is there are certain diversionary programs for first offenders. I mean, as far as I know, the information that we have is that he's never been in trouble before. So that being the case, he may qualify for some diversionary program. Those programs are always discretionary. It's always by the prosecuting district attorney to be able to allow people in those programs if they feel as though this person is a good candidate for that program, including what happened to Ray Rice in the video that came out afterwards. He got into a diversionary program.
Hang on one sec. Marcus Hayes has a question for you. Marcus?
Enrique, correct me if I'm wrong, but New York and New Jersey, one of the big reasons their gun laws are so strict, especially for bringing a gun into that state, is because that's how a lot of the crimes are committed. A lot of the guns that are in play in New York and New Jersey, where it's a little bit tougher to get a gun and a permit for yourself, the guns are brought in from out of state, the guns that they recover from these crimes, which is why it's such a big deal to bring a gun across the state line of New York or New Jersey, maybe some other states as well.
I agree with you. I mean, what you have is you have policy here. You have policy about New York and New Jersey being very populated states with population and having rules that say, listen, we don't care if it's a mistake. We don't care if you got a gun somewhere else and that gun's legal. We don't want it here. You're not allowed to bring it here unless you follow the rules and the regulations here in New Jersey or New York or other states. Pennsylvania has a little more relaxed rules as far as, you know, other states allowing firearms from different states and other ways of grading these crimes. But Jersey, very, very strict.
And if you're on the bridge, Enrique, you might as well be in New Jersey, right? That's New Jersey jurisdiction, the Walt Whitman Bridge and the Ben Franklin Bridge?
You might as well be. When you start to head over that bridge, you ought to follow the speed limit. You're not to have 50 grams of marijuana on you, and you shouldn't have an illegal firearm on you.
Enrique, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Enrique Latoison, and again, not counsel to Josh Huff, but explaining what the laws are and what Josh Huff could be facing, and we thank him. Let's stay with the wide receiver position because, you know, it's not good enough, frankly. Josh Huff or not, what will the Eagles do going forward with the trade deadline having come and gone? No moves.
Well, they're doing nothing, yeah. As expected, Mike, we knew that this was a long shot to make a move particularly for an impact wide receiver. I mean, you're going to have to give up a lot. And right now, it seems like reports are saying that the 49ers wanted a third-round pick, and I don't think there's any chance for Torrey Smith, excuse me, there was going to be any chance that they're going to try and give up that much for a guy that you're basically not renting because he's a contract beyond this year, but you're still going to have to pay $8 million a year, and he's going to help you. He's an upgrade certainly over what they have on the outside. But again, long term, I just don't think Torrey Smith's the answer. Maybe even for this season.
Mm-hmm. So they are stuck with and I say stuck. They're stuck with the receivers that they have.
Well, they made this bed for themselves. We were sitting here on this set in August, and Dave Zangaro and I were talking about the wide receiver position, and he said, well, they went out and got 2 wide receivers, who they cut 3 weeks later. They didn't address the position. Now they're stuck because very seldom do you upgrade a skill position in the season via trade in the NFL. That's just not the way the NFL works. It's not like the other sports. That said, there's nothing saying that these receivers can't somehow play better. I'm very, very optimistic when it comes to young players. Have to go through growth periods. They signed 4-year or 5-year contracts for a reason, because they have a learning curve. And I think what we've been very spoiled looking around the league over the last 4 or 5 years, Jeff. So many receivers have had immediate impact, especially the way the offenses are run now. Right. But the Eagles aren't in that situation. They don't have the offensive line. They don't have the quarterback. They don't have the running back to protect those receivers and give them a little bit of leeway.
All right, let me show you some tweets real quick. We'll go to Tweet Street. Actually, one from C.J. Rodriguez. I believe a trade would have happened already if the Bears, Niners, or whoever wasn't demanding too much. Well, there it is. I guess they were, because the trade deadline's come and gone. Time for you to voice your choice, presented by Comcast Business. Today's question, who plays more games this season, Joel Embiid or Jahlil Okafor? You find the poll on our Twitter account, PST on CSN. Results later. The Eagles are 4-3. All 3 losses have been close games. So do you think there's still a playoff team? Grab your phones, your PCs, your chance to vote coming up.